Hey, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Summer Break issue number 2 of 12. In today's video we have 3 paintings that I made during my time at the Cedarburg Plein Air Festival last week. Enjoy! Alright, we're checked in, we're stamped up. Everybody's out here painting. It's time for me to get out and do a little painting too. For the first painting that I worked on at the Cedarburg Plein Air, I decided to drive out into the country and find something to paint. Here I am creating a value sketch. The boundaries for the Cedarburg Plein Air was the entire Ozaki County, which was nice for me because I had some area to explore. And that's what I was doing on this first morning. It's a very windy day. You can see I'm fighting with my canvas here. I'm trying to get something set up, and then my easel fell over. It's kind of discouraging because the solvent went all over the ground and nothing was working out at first, but then the wind died down and I was able to get started. It always seems like whenever I'm starting anything, there's these little hoops that I have to jump through, or I have to cross that bridge. I kind of have to overcome some hardships before I can get started. And that's what happened on this morning. I could have stopped the painting almost at this point because I had that shadow shape placed. There's that triangular shape of shadow that's being cast from the barn on the left onto the gambrel roof barn, and I was really interested in that shape. I was driving around and I saw that shape, and I decided that that was something that I would be interested in painting, and I'm going to base the rest of the painting just off of that shape. It seems like that's a lot of times how I do things. Just drive around, see something that's interesting on that day, an interesting play of light and shadow. And finishing up the first morning working on this painting of the gambrel roof barn that's behind me. The wind is terrible today, and I know I didn't do a lot of talking at the start, but I did do a little value sketch. And in that value sketch, I became very interested in that long shadow that was being cast from this barn onto this one. Well, I had a couple hours here for lunch this afternoon, and this is the view outside of the van door. Really been enjoying this nice subtle breeze that's been blowing, but at one point actually a branch got blown off of that tree right over there. You can see the branch laying on the ground right there. I was sitting in the van. Can you believe that just fell like that? A huge limb just fell down. I was like, I thought you had some firecrackers. Right. Somebody's got firewood now. There was a guy who just pulled up on his motorcycle before it happened, and I thought that he was lighting off fireworks. He was walking down by the river, kind of checking everything out. But I heard this creaking and cracking, and that huge limb, I don't know, maybe it's 6 inches across. It was a huge limb, fell off of that tree and came crashing down. I was happy that neither me nor Porter nor the guy on the motorcycle was underneath that when it happened. But there's just kind of a nice breeze happening right now. That same breeze earlier in the morning when I was working on my first painting was a very intense wind. My easel actually blew over not long after I got started. But as far as the first day of painting goes on that first piece, I'm really happy with the direction that it's going. I took my time getting set up. I did a marker compositional sketch. Anyway, that same breeze that was out there was really giving me problems earlier, but it sure has been nice and relaxing for lunch. I got this little envelope with my name on it, and it has the painting submission form. It has the calendar. This is Saturday. June 5th, and it's time to get back out in the field and start working on the second painting of day 1 in Cedarburg. Porter and I are relaxing over here at Wabadonia County Park, There's a campsite here, and there's also a lot of really cool stuff to paint. I mean, we're just sitting by this little bridge, and there's beautiful blue reflections in the water, and it's really kind of a cool place. If you're looking for a relaxed place to paint while you're in Cedarburg, this Wabadonia County Park happens to have a lot of water. There's trees, there's a lot of forest, there's rocks, and there's a place to cool off for the dogs. We'll get back to the next one in a little bit. Here we are on Lover's Lane in Holy Cross, Wisconsin, and we've got two lovers here. These two barns have been joined together for their whole life, and it's fitting that they're out here on Lover's Lane. I think you'll agree with me, I've got a great subject matter. I'm going to get started on the second painting from Cedarburg. Okay, here's my marker sketch. This gave me a lot of information to work with. I'm familiar with the shapes that I'm going to be working with today. Now I have to do a really nice drawing, transfer that onto the canvas, mix my colors, and get this painting going. I felt like that was a nice marker sketch, and it was enough to base my painting off of. Here I am creating a site-size drawing that I'm going to transfer onto my panel after I have completed it. So here I am. I have a piece of transfer paper below the site-size drawing that I created, and it's just giving me something clean to work from. I don't know if it was the right idea on this day, but that's what I did. Pre-mixing some colors, paying close attention to what values I was observing, and here I am laying in the transparent dark shapes with some violet paint. Hot and sunny summer afternoon. Plenty of wind. I remember as I was standing out near those fields of long grasses how much this reminded me of summers as a kid. Time spent out in a field with the breeze blowing and the sun beating down on you. These barns have seen a lot of years. Well, I've been out here for about an hour and a half so far, but I finally have my underpainting done, and I think it was worth it. I wanted to have something that was compositionally good. I like the way that this big dark shape is happening in this area, and these two kind of pointing upwards. The two barns are kind of pointing upwards. And I took my time and I did a good drawing. I transferred the drawing so the shapes were on the canvas in the place that I wanted them to be. And now it's time to move forward and lay in my initial masses. I'm kind of compartmentalizing my process today. I'm getting every step of the process done as well as possible. That's going to save me time in the long run because I won't have to fix mistakes as I go. This was a complex painting to get started, and it took me quite a bit of time to get it up and running. But I'm glad that I took so much time at the start. It made it easy for me to be able to create a colorful underpainting because I had spent so much time considering the drawing and the placement of shapes. Anytime I have a subject matter that presents a complex drawing problem, I find that the solution takes me a long time to solve. I finished up day one on this Lover's Lane painting of these rustic barns. I'm hoping to continue this painting and finish it off tomorrow. Even though it's a little rough today, I want to get out of here. I want to have a little relaxation time before I start my third painting of the day. Are you going more that way? Yep, just a little bit. Perfect. All right, well, he just moved the tractor over here for me to paint, so I got one last one in me today. Looks like I got an hour and a half of light. I'm gonna see how far I can get on this tractor painting. Well, this is my third painting that I worked on the first day at Cedarburg. And this is a painting location that I found just by driving around out in the country. I noticed that red International tractor parked in front of the barn. And I also noticed that they had a couple of old cars, a couple of old Plymouths. One was a 42 and one was a 47. I pulled into the driveway and there was a high school aged student just kind of hanging out, and I asked him if I could come back and paint, and he said I could, so here I am. He actually moved that tractor right to where that light was going to be shining onto it, and that was really nice of him to do. Well, welcome back. We're here for day 2 of the Cedarburg Plein Air. We're outside of Fredonia, and of course I have my first painting that I was working on. Just getting this set up on an easel. All of the paintings that I worked on yesterday, I was focusing on getting a good start and a good composition, and I think that I have something here that I can definitely work with today. The goal today is to just add a lot of color and maintain these big shapes that are on the canvas at this point. It's all about having fun with color today. Let's get started. That's a good way to put it. It's definitely all about having fun with color. It definitely wasn't about having fun with my umbrella, because that thing almost blew over as soon as I put it up. The reason I work on these paintings over 2 days is that I really enjoy building up a lot of color. And I also enjoy having paintings that are accurate in their drawing and their values. And because I was trained as a graphic designer, I'm always trying to get an interesting design into my paintings as well. All that stuff takes time. And I find that it's mentally exhausting to just get the painting started, and that it's very nice to come back a second time and build up and add all those different color shifts. I work for the Impressionists, so that's good enough for me. And on this day, you can see I've laid a lot of color shifts and different patches of color onto the gambrel roof barn. And now I'm adding in some of the grasses and the lawn. How's my face? Is there paint on it? Check it out. Was able to add a whole lot of color to the painting. I'm happy with the direction that I took with it. Look right behind me, there's another grate. So, whoa! Okay, I'm taking this down because my easel is blowing over. I'm just grateful to have a couple of days where I can just be out in the country and do what I want. I know part of the Cedarburg Plein Air is getting downtown and doing some things in town, but there's been a feeling that has come over me, this summertime feeling, because I'm just out in the country doing my thing. I just feel at home right now, and with how beautiful it is and with this great company of the dog, and I'm happy to have someone who took me in and let me stay at their house during this time. I'm so grateful. Also, I'm thinking about the way that Porter is behaving. A lot of times when we're at home, Corbin and I will be walking all over the place, and after a couple laps of that, Porter and the other dogs will just decide to lay in the shade. But here at this county park, he's sniffing every garbage can, he's smelling all the new smells, and it's kind of like that. I think that's one reason that I've had the energy, that my energy has been in a place to go out and just paint all day out in the heat, is that it's like we're in a different area, we're not at home, and so we're sniffing out all those different painting locations, and there's a lot out here in this part of the county as well. Well, we're back here for the second painting of the day. Things are going to change dramatically during this painting session. There's a lot of clouds rolling in, so I'm going to just set my things up and I'm going to act on this thing as quickly as possible. The first painting was successful. because of those large shapes that I had to work with. I just had some big areas, and all I had to do was place those areas and then add a lot of color into it. On this painting, to contrast that, there's a lot of smaller shapes. Alright, check out the painting. There's the motif, and here's the painting. I worked for 2.5 hours on this piece. I worked for just over 2 hours on this piece, and I'm happy with where it wound up. I gotta get into some shade. I've been out painting in the direct sun for like 4.5 hours now, so one last look. Gotta go get some shade. And finally, here I am setting up my easel so that I can complete my third painting. I'm back here at this farm, and this was a fun day because there was a few people around and I got a chance to talk to a bunch of different people. It was definitely windy. You can see it in those trees. And I'm struggling to find a place to put my camera, and I finally just clamped it onto that old trailer because unlike my easel, that trailer isn't going to blow away. Our reporter, he went running around. He went into that old chicken house that's right behind me. And even though he went in there, I don't think any chickens were harmed in the making of this painting. Those birds are singing. Right now I just feel like I'm at my own farm. I feel so much at home. It's gonna wrap up my day of painting here at Cedarburg. Today was the second day of painting. I got my 3 paintings finished, and it just felt like summertime today. As that sun goes down, we're gonna lose the effective sun, and I'm gonna pack my things up. Here's the painting. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna get back to where I'm staying, and I'm gonna frame things up. Porter and I are going to go on a little walk. Thanks so much for tuning in. So with this painting, I laid it in yesterday, of course, and I worked for 2 days on it. And I had a really nice lay-in, actually. The first day's work was pretty nice, but I just had to come back through and tweak a couple things. I really wanted to maintain this sort of washed out quality to the light in this painting. And I think that it appears like a strong directional light. Some of that has to do with the values that I chose, and some of it has to do with the way that the shadows are laid out. But it just looks kind of washed out to me, and I like that. It just feels like there's harsh sunlight pouring in and flowing all over this painting. I didn't touch anything in the background. I mean, last night I was painting like my hair was on fire. All this stuff, this little shed, the barn, these trees in the background, didn't even touch it. I just kind of reworked the tractor, made that into a center focus, and left everything else kind of abstract. I think this is the type of painting that I'm most interested in, and I'm glad to see that some of this value consolidation that I've been interested in for the past 10 years or so of painting is starting to find its way into my work in new and kind of different ways. We'll see you for the next one. I got some framing to do and probably some more painting too. Well, the paintings are done. Oh, the Porter's taking me the other way. The paintings are done, but there's still more to do. We're here at Cedarburg Park, and we're gonna do a little bit of skateboarding this morning. But first, we're gonna run Porter along the path. I've been coming here, same routine every morning that I've been in Cedarburg. We go to the skate park for an hour or so in the morning, run with Porter, play in the water with Porter, and then get on with my day of painting. So let's check this out. here on the beach of Lake Michigan. We're in a beautiful location. Couldn't you just listen to this sound all day while you're painting? I'm gonna get started. I've got a nice composition. The way that the beach kind of arcs and meets that background massing of distant trees. That's what I'm interested in. So we're gonna get started.